Welcome to another episode of Talk and Takes. On today's episode, as usual, I am your host and my co-host is Natasha. Today, we're going to be talking about unemployment in the society. And we have two lovely guests with us. We have Pastor Blessing Isijola, a chartered accountant, project manager, and a pastor. Welcome to our set.
Thank you very much.
We also have Ms. Jane Chukwu, Regional Director for Equity International Initiative. She's an activist and anti-corruption crusader. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
We'll get into the conversation in a minute. We'll be right back.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. So, welcome on set.
Thank you very much.
Here. Okay, so right into the very topic, unemployment in the society. Nigeria, a case in point. Yeah. For over 13 years, right now we have the highest rate of unemployment.
Yeah.
Premium Times states it at about 33.3% right now. And the most affected is between the ages of 25 to 34. What do you have to say about that? It's absolutely horrible.
Well, if I'm to take a shot at that, I would say that the rate of employment is directly proportional to the economy of a nation. And when the economy is, for lack of a better word, epileptic, you're going to have a lot of unemployment. Coupled with the fact that we just came out of a pandemic, and that has contributed a lot to the rate of unemployment, which is an abnormal situation. So all of this put together must have caused a rise in the unemployment rate. So if nothing happens in the positive to the economy, we're expecting to have more people. Yes.
Okay, for me, I would say that you start from your early years to attack it. You know, there are no jobs yet, but you can create a job. You can develop your entrepreneurial skills while you're still in school. Get something to do with your hands. A graduate can learn a skill and create jobs and employ even other graduates. So with this, we are tackling the issues before it rises higher than where we are today.
So you're saying the onus is on the individual and not the government to create a system that enables people to actually have jobs, which is majorly the reason people go to school. As an educated, you're expecting that once you graduate, you're going to get gainfully employed. So are you saying the onus is on the individual to actually
create
set
something?
Your minds that the government will do anything?
Yeah.
That is a better way to attack success. Success in itself is identifying a need, and you meet the need. It's already an issue in Nigeria today that there are no jobs. Statistics states that every year NYSC mobilizes over 30,000 graduates yearly. When they are done, where are they coming out to meet? They are coming to meet the crowd who are already waiting for jobs.
Yeah.
So we can start creating it from where you were in school. Look at the issue at hand and attack it from the perspective of an entrepreneur.
Okay, Pastor Blessing, I need you to explain exactly what is unemployment, because I'm asking this question because I know a lot of people that are job seekers. Yeah. They're applying for jobs, but they have something doing. There's something they are selling. It's not enough to build a life on, but they are doing something. So would you also add them to the unemployment?
Well, I want to come from the concept of economics.
Okay.
Unemployment is when you have a group of people who are willing and able to work and not find the opportunity to work. Okay. That's unemployment. Now, the situation you're painting, even though I want to differ a bit to say we have a case of underemployment, and which is also a function of the economy. Because underemployment is when someone is able to work, gets the work, but is underpaid. Now, you may not want to put all those blame on the employer or the employee, and you want to adduce that to the situation of the country. Now, when the economy is not robust enough to afford the resources that will enable the employer put monies in the hands of the employees as a reward system for the work done is underemployment. And I think there's a whole lot of that in Nigeria. And that's the secret of the migration. Because if they get what they want to do and they get adequately rewarded for that, why do they want to leave? That's my thought about that. Now, when you have people who are already doing something, as a matter of fact, maybe entrepreneurial skills, and it's bringing in money, it still shows that they are not making enough money.
Yes.
Because when you make enough money, yes, you look for more money, but you'll be looking for a job. Because most people now that have a job, they want to get into entrepreneurship. Those who enter entrepreneurship want to get a job. So there's a dilemma there. So I think the issue is satisfaction comes when you get value for what you chunk out. Then you won't create more problem to the problem that already exists.
Okay. You talked about Nigeria, graduates, they should get a skill. What would you say? Because there are lots of skills. It could be something handy, it could be IT, anything. What would you say is the most valuable skill to have as a Nigerian?
You could trade, you could invest, go into investments, it could even be maybe go into fashion, it could be learning, maybe a hairstylist or something, something that you can just take your eyes off the government. Because the issue is, I'm coming out from school and I'm already envisaging a particular position, and I get to the company and I find out that it's not open for me. So what becomes to eradicate that state? I think that I don't have the record of anyone who has been successful in life by working for somebody. Sometimes greatness is in you. You stand up and take the giants, go get it.
I don't think I agree with that. Do you? I don't think, I know a few persons that work for companies, multinationals, and they are doing very well in their own. Like, I feel like we put too much expectation on being an entrepreneur. Not everyone wants, apart from build, not everyone even desires everything that comes with entrepreneurship. Someone else should worry about the risks. Just pay me at the end of the month and I'll get my job done. Yeah, so I'm not sure I completely agree with what you're saying, but I get your point.
So I will come at you real quick, because every time I engage in this topic and people put the bulk of the work on the individual, I have issues with that. Because there is a reason the government is set in place. There is a reason there has to be a system. Why are you in the government? Why are you in the presidency? You're supposed to create an enabling environment for those you have educated or said go to school to be able to come out and get gainfully employed. If we choose to be entrepreneur, it's based on what we choose to do. Right? But when we say that as you're getting into school, or maybe even as a secondary school student, once you even leave school, you should already be thinking of, gaining skills and all of that. Should the motive for gaining skills be that because I already know that the government will give me a job, let me not be at a loss on both ends? Should that even be a thing?
I understand what you're saying. The government has its part to play. If we have social amenities available and an enabling environment, even for private sectors, to open up for more employment for people, we are to work together. The government itself cannot function on its own. They still need us to function. So I understand what you're saying. So what I would say is that to attack the issues, we already know how it is in the government. So you don't keep your hope fixing on something you know that we are trying to salvage. And God is helping us. Thank God he's a pastor. God is helping us to, tackle it. Because it's an issue.
But should it be acceptable? Should it be accepted? Should we accept that the government will do less than they ought to do? Should it be something we should have? Mr. Sito?
Well, what I think about that is it's a two-way thing. As much as we've allowed this predominant thought to be prevalent, it has given the government more leverage to be lazy. And I think that, and even the way we go about it, because we've not put them on their toes, they've taken the citizenry for granted a long time. It's the function of government to create an enabling environment and because without even the enabling environment, the entrepreneur will not succeed.
Yes.
And that's the present problem we have, where you now have a lot of people do capital flights. Because when you put the money here, you don't even see it come out. You rather go to an enabling environment where you know that if you invest your resources there, your returns will be more.
Yeah.
And for anybody doing business, that's your focus. Because the bottom line is, what's the profit margin? If you invest that much and take all the risk and nothing comes out of it, it's not a good business decision. But as much as we leave the buck at the table of the government, there's a second part to that, which is the part where people need to develop skills. Understanding also that the government cannot absorb everybody. So individual organized private sector, as it's being called, SMEs, MSEs are the enabler for the economy, where if they employ the 5, the 10, the 15, and those who have capacity to employ more, and they do that, you discover that it has a way of rejigging the economy. But that's also still dependent on government creating an enabling environment for that to work. If you follow the trend, that was why there was that clamoring for the ease of doing business. Hoping that if this is sustainable, we have more business come up. If they come up, they will help rejig the economy.
Yeah.
So I think the government has still a major role to play, and they cannot be absorbed of their responsibilities.
Yeah. Ms. Jane, I want to come to you again because you're emphasizing on getting a skill. Yeah. And you can as well, once you're done with secondary school, go on and get a skill. Why do you have to go through university and study some skilled profession, hoping that, okay, I'll be an accountant, a medical doctor, and all of that? So are you saying that there's no need for tertiary institution? You'll answer that question when we come back from the short break. See you soon.
Hey there, are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back, Ashley.
Yes, I asked what's the essence of tertiary education when you can just finish secondary school and go and learn a skill?
Well, that's a preparation going to tertiary institution does to a man. It exposes your mind, develops your mind. There is a certain level of success that you can record if you attend tertiary institution or education. And you know, there are places that you may not be able to freely enter and talk when men from different professions are talking. So I think that despite the fact that you need to develop your skills and develop talent and all that, one needs to still go to school.
So are you saying, Pastor Blessing, or would you agree with her and say something needs to be done about our education system in the sense that they need to change the courses available for one to study instead of, the common accounting, banking, and finance? Since we all need to acquire a skill, shouldn't there be more defined courses that align with our current situation as a country?
Well, if we analyze that, we can analyze it from different perspectives. Understanding that the present situation we face is, I don't want to call it failure in governance, but not taking enough responsibility from the realms of governance. Because if that is done, it has solved some of the problem. Even though the educational sector has its own issues that needed to be revamped, for example, we have people go through university education and they never had opportunity for exposure practically for the course they've studied. Now, how do you marry just sinking in the theories and not have the practical experience? Now, there are things you would never know until you have the practical experience. But that has really not major things to do with entrepreneurship or employment. If the enabling environment is created, you discover that people can choose to go for the technical or the practical knowledge. Some will choose to go for the theoretical knowledge. Some would decide to marry the two together. And sometimes people go through the university education not even wanting to practice what they've learned. Because you have a perception about the course. When you get to understand the nitty-gritty about the course, you don't want to practice the course. But the educational system does more than getting a job to you. It enlightens your mind, opens you up to possibilities. And once you're open to that, you can become anything. And that's why we have graduates of engineering in the bank. And they're doing well. So it's not necessarily all about being tailor-made to have the practical knowledge of what you've studied. Because sometimes people have a foretaste of what they desire. And by the time they have that foretaste, they discover that that's not really what they are made for. So I don't think the problem for unemployment has everything to do with our educational system. I rather opine that it's a function of governments. And
considering the fact that what you studied is completely different from your career path, I'm sure you completely agree with what he's saying.
Yes, absolutely do, because back in the university I studied microbiology, I was in sciences, and now I'm in arts and TV doing media.
You see?
I always knew that was my thing anyway. It's fun. So when it comes to the educational sector, and you said it's not really like a problem, it's not really the crux of the problem. I think, first of all, I don't even know why ASA keeps on going on strike, because absolutely a lot of the courses we learn are obsolete, so to speak, in my own opinion. When I was in school, I think computer sciences, there was a course called Fortran 77. So backward. You see computer science graduates come out of school, especially in the federal universities, not the private universities. And there's certain applications, certain skills, certain application of their knowledge that they can't even engage in. Just like I said, the theoretical aspect. So they teach you a lot of things, and even most of the things that are being taught are quite backward, so to speak. So that's on another side. I just wanted to quickly touch on that, because the educational sector is really not doing well. But based on an article from Premium Times, it said that Lagos State and Osun State, they have the lowest rate of underemployment, 4.5% thereabout. Now for unemployment, the states with the highest unemployment rate are states such as Adamawa, Cross River, Imo State. It is a horrible thing to look at, but I don't want to even talk about the states with the unemployment. I want to ask categorically, what do you think, in your opinion, Lagos State and Osun State are doing right? For the fact that they have the lowest rate of underemployment and even unemployment as well. So do you think they're doing right that the other states need to see?
I think if I take a jab at that, I think it's common knowledge that Lagos is the economic capital of Nigeria. And so that speaks to the fact that there's something they're getting right to make their economy as a state viable, which in turn goes back to governance. Governance creates the enabling environment. Even the educational system we're talking about, who is in charge of that is the governance. The governance system of the country decides the curriculum and how to tailor-make it to fit the setting they found themselves in. So when you take a look at Lagos and Osun State, it means they are getting something right with respect to governance. And once the tools of governance, because look at it, the government receive all the taxes. They generate all the revenue. They get their share of the allocation. What do they do with it? In creating an enabling environment, we're talking about security. And when you look at security, that's what, if you see the migration rates to Lagos, because of the seemingly secured environment, And you see, security is more of a perception than the reality.
Yes.
If you perceive an environment is secure, it will thrive economically.
Yes.
But if you perceive that it's not secure, even when it is, nobody wants to go there. Nobody wants to invest there. Now, with investment comes contribution from people. With investment comes compliance. The moment they comply with regulations of government can think of their feet, think of what else to plow into the economy of that location. The moment that place is thriving economically, people pick up. Openings and investments, you don't need to canvass before people invest. If you want to invest in a country like Nigeria, the first place you're thinking of having an office is in Lagos. Not in Imo State, not in Adamawa State. Why? The enabling environment. Even if they give you free space in Adamawa, you won't go there. Why? We know the obvious facts. Security is an issue. Then when you think about power, because power is another major issue. If the place is secured and there's no power, how do you run business?
Yeah.
And these are factors that should be considered. And all of these still rest on governance.
Sister Jane, you kept saying the honest lies on the individual. So do you agree with him?
Yes, I currently agree with him. But I still know that as an individual, you have a part to play.
You mentioned a few skills. You said certain skills that could be learned are trading,
Investing.
investment, and all of that.
Yeah.
You cannot invest if you don't have the money to invest, right? Trading, you talked about trading. Okay, so I'll just throw in forex trading, so to speak, because a lot of young people are into forex trading, crypto, Bitcoin, all of that. But even now that younger ones are trying to do a thing for themselves, the government wakes up one morning and says, oh, put a ban to crypto, put a ban to Bitcoin. They choose to bring about the digital currency, which is not, did you buy any of I did not the e-naira, no. So you see that as individuals, people are trying to put themselves out there, to learn a thing, to do a thing. And then you have the government still come out and put a stop to it.
Yes.
So are the youths not trying enough? And unfortunately, we had some time back, a few years back, when the presidency said the youths are lazy. Every other street you turn to, you either see a youth selling akara or making hair, doing wigs, something. Even if the money is not much. Right?
And the government issue is not even only on federal, because talk of River State, January, our governor came and said no more delivery, logistics and all that. It has affected businesses in ways you cannot even imagine. So I don't completely agree that it's just on the individual. The government plays like say 80% role in, the situation of the country.
Yeah, so based on these skills now, I would like you to please intimate us on certain high-paying skills that the youths can actually engage in to be able to generate income for themselves. Peradventure, you have knowledge of them.
Yes, you can look at graphic design, content creating, copywriter, editing. There are a lot of things, but you can't just do that if you don't develop. You could register yourself, get to learn something, get to whatever is worth doing right is worth training for. Train yourself to be a better person. Take your eyes off the government, because we can't keep talking about government and government and government and government. I have my part to play. And there is another factor which is very paramount in achieving success in life. That is the God factor. Take away government. A man who has God beside him is majority. And you can thrive under any system, policy, or whatever government law that has been set. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, we do.
Sister Jane, I like that you put the God factor. I love God as well, and I'm Christian, but I know that there are a lot of Christians that are also poor. Really very poor.
Yeah.
And so primarily, it might not necessarily even be religion, because you can know God and you can pray for. We see people go to churches Monday through to Friday, or Monday through to Thursday, or Monday through to Tuesday, but yet they're still very poor.
Yeah.
So the answer is not necessarily that you pray much or that your faith is working.
Yeah.
And also, like you kept saying, skill. To be able to train yourself, you need money. to do that.
Yes.
Even when the information is available, which most of the time is not, you need money to be able to do this. So, Mr. Sijola, would you say that the information as to gaining these skills are out there and like enough in the faces of these youths for them to say, to wanting to learn? And also, would you say that the government has done quite enough to be able to create grants or monetary access so that people can be able to get this money and be able to train themselves to deploy their skills?
Well, as much as I've said a lot about government not doing their part, I also think that has dampened the spirits of some of the youths, not most of them, and such that even those who are putting in efforts, not all of them are seeing the reward. I think that there's a lot more that people can do, even though while waiting for government to wake up to help bridge the gap and meet halfway, there are few things that can be done. And first, it starts with the mindset. Once the mindset is skewed in the wrong direction, you have a problem there. There's this mentorship scheme that the people from the eastern part of the country engage in, where you have somebody coming to learn a particular trade, and that has helped them a great deal. But I remember talking with one of the major guys there, and he's saying that guys are no more interested. Because I was to pick up some things, and I was asking, what happened to your guys? Guys are no more interested. When even they pay for them to come and serve, after 2 months, they are gone. And they say that they want to do Yahoo or Naira Bet or what have you. And why you even have them for that 2 months? They are busy trying and playing with their phones. And when you investigate, you see that the guy is either on the Naira Bet site or he's trying to check who can we scam and all of that. So we have a lot of ladies now undergoing the mentorship program as against the guys. Now, when you see a scheme where government has not empowered people, and the few, it looks like we celebrate the people who do the wrong things. Now, that's by default, school the young minds to tell them that there's no reward for hard work. And so they think it's soft work, they think there is a shortcut, and nobody wants to suffer. So when you hear the music, when you hear everything, it's pointing in one direction. Only the fool is going through the right path. And that right path is the short path. And because of that, they are short-sighted, and it's rewriting the environment, rewriting history, rewriting the psychology of the youths. And because of that, they are not ready to undergo the process that will empower them.
I like that you talked about how unemployment is, how some of these people would rather do Yahoo than, learn a skill. So my last question before we end today is, would you blame unemployment on what Nigerian youth are up to right now? Whether you're talking about internet fraudster, or you're talking about ladies going into prostitution and all of that, do you think unemployment has a role to play in that?
Oh, yes, unemployment has a role to play. However, the truth still remains that as much as we pass the buck to governments and the wrong values we see around, it doesn't insulate people from doing the right thing. Because we still have people who are going through the process, learning the ropes, burning the candles, undergoing the trainings that will help them in future. The truth still remains that give it another 5 to 10 years. Some of those guys who have boycotted the process will be nowhere to be found. They will live in regret by sure. The truth is, if God does not reward, nature will reward. If nature does not reward, time will reward. So you can't run away from the rewards. So the reward system is still there. As much as we also think government is not doing what they should do, there are still people who are striving and have ignored governments to grind and make something out of the economy. Even though they're in a few minority, others are going through the brunt of bad governance. But you see, the process of going through the right process makes you, not necessarily the end results. You learn a few lessons, you get your hands burnt, but you're still made such that if you get into a different climb, you become the star. How did you learn how to become the star? You learned it in the process of being in the wrong climb. The second thing is, who knows, something may just happen and there could be a revolution, in quotes, and we don't have good governance. Now, those who have positioned themselves right will reap the reward of that. So we can't blame unemployment on government alone. Also, there's an input from the people. Like she said, there are skills you can learn. And sometimes you may learn 2-3 more skills and add it together, and a little here, a little there adds up in the long run. And it can still be better. So we can't put everything on government.
Thank you so much, Mr. Esijan and Sister Jane, for coming here today. I absolutely enjoyed having this conversation. Even though I have more questions to ask, but then we're stuck for time. But you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, follow us on social media platforms. And this is Talk and Takes. Bye for now.
Bye.